My name is Trevor, and I want to tell you the full story of how I went from being a completely broke college student working part time in fast food and as a lifeguard to making 10K per month online 150 days later. I'm going to walk you through the full story, how it worked, what happened, so that you can apply it for yourself. So let's get straight into it. And in order to start the story, I have to go all the way back to 2020 during the prime of COVID. You see, this was my senior year of high school. And at first, when COVID hit, I was just like most people. I began playing a bunch of video games. I was depressed, lazy. Fortnite was around at this time, so I was playing a ton of that. And then I kind of had this realization during COVID because COVID really for me was almost like a blessing in disguise. I know a lot of people don't like the times of COVID, and I agree for the most part. But what did happen with COVID is it gave me a lot of time to sit and reflect on where my life was headed. You see, I just graduated high school, or I was about to graduate high school, and I was about to go to college. And I started really thinking to myself, I don't like the major that I'm going to college for, which was mechanical engineering. I think the corporate lifestyle is pretty cringe and it's really not for me. And I cannot be asked to sit in a cubicle and try to make acquaintances with all my coworkers that I really don't care at all about. And you barely make enough money to get by. You can never go on vacation. Like I wanted to go on vacation 100 times a year, not like once or twice. And so I came to the realization that I did not really like where my life was headed. And I was a little bit scared, honestly, for the future ahead. And what this realization led me down to doing, plus paired with the fact that COVID gave me a ton of free time, is I downloaded the app called TikTok. And I started seeing videos on TikTok from people that were my age or maybe a little bit younger, maybe a little bit older, that were making 10K, 15K, 20K per month online. And honestly, seeing that stuff really, really pissed me off. At first, when I saw these people creating content on social media, I thought that they were all scammers. But after really looking into it, I realized that, some of them very well might have been scammers, but they were also actually very smart. But they weren't smart in the way that they're like incredibly gifted or incredibly special, but what they were doing was smart and it was strategic. And that really just it pissed me off because up until that point, I'd been brainwashed my entire life that the only route that you can go down if you want to be successful is you have to go to college, you have to go get a 9 to 5 job, you have to move up the corporate ladder, you have to save enough money, and then maybe by the time you're 60 or 65, you can have enough money to buy a retirement home and a really nice car, and you have your Roth IRA that gives you millions of dollars, and you're taught to invest money and save your money and stuff like that. This was the life that I thought had to be the route. But after seeing these people on social media, I realized that that's not necessarily the case. And what's ironic now for me is I hated working like a boring 9 to 5 job, like doing fast food or lifeguarding, which is what I was doing at the time. But now inside of my business that I run, I'm actually happy working 5 a.m. to 9 p.m., like double the hours. But it's on something that I'm actually passionate about. So this realization that this is the route that you can go down, I realized that I needed to get my shit together in order to start pursuing making money online. And so I started working out. I started actually using my time wisely. I started quitting the video games, or at least leaning off of them. Started building discipline, started acquiring skills, started going for runs all the time during that summer. And then at the start of the school year, when I went to college for the school year of 2021, I actually began starting to start my journey of actually making money online. So I tried drop shipping and I tried it for a couple days, but very quickly into it, I became very hesitant because I didn't want to spend all this money on ads with no surefire way to actually make my money back. And I heard a lot of bad reviews of drop shipping as well. And so I kind of just scratched that. But after that, I actually started doing a business model called affiliate marketing, and you probably know of it. It's basically where you promote another business's products, and I actually made some decent money with it. But the problem is affiliate marketing just really isn't scalable at all. So I found a little bit of success, but I quickly realized that there are scaling limitations because if you're promoting someone else's product and getting a percentage of it, that means in order to make more money, you need more leads and sales. And there's only a couple ways to do that. You can either create a ton of content on social media And at the time, I wasn't like some like big influencer with hundreds of thousands of followers. Or you can learn how to run ads, but running ads is hard enough to a product that you sell for your own business. Now imagine trying to promote someone else's where you only get 10% of every sale. So it's very, very tricky. And so what I realized is the reason that I had been struggling up until that point and these business models weren't working for me and nothing was really clicking at the time, I realized that I didn't have skills. And I came across a principle that completely changed my life at this point, and it's called the rule of three. Basically, what it states is that in life, we have three currencies. We have money, time, and skills. And basically, you can use the formula of the rule of three to get whatever you want. So if you want more money, you have to trade the other two to get the one that you're looking for. So if you want more money, you have to trade your time and your skills to get more money. If you want more time, you can trade your money and your skills. And if you want more skills, you can trade your money and your time. And I realized at that point that I did not have enough skills to actually make money online at that point. I had the mindset, I had the discipline that I had been building with sports in high school and things like that. I realized, though, that I did not have enough skills or high income skills to actually make money. And so I started going down the path of acquiring as much high income skill sets. And remember, the formula is trading money and time to build skills. And so I bought courses, I bought mentorships, I invested in programs, and I started focusing on acquiring and building high income skill sets. So then I ended up starting down a business model called appointment setting, which is also known as remote sales. And the reason why I did it is because I knew that I had to build the skill of sales if I wanted to be successful. I mean, think about it, like every business sells. So I started focusing on building the skill of sales. At the same time as well, I also realized a pretty dark secret about the industry of making money online at this point. And I realized that basically everyone is selling a course or a coaching program. You see, they'll go and tell you to go do drop shipping or to go do this business model or that business model or that business model, but every single one of them are selling some sort of course or coaching program around that same business model. And what that really led me to realize is the fact that this is the best business model. This is what I should be doing. But the problem was for me is I did not have the skills in order to do that at the time. So I needed to go in, build my skills, work with one of these businesses, see the ins and outs of how they run their business and how they make money so that I can eventually replicate it to my own accord. So I started doing work as an appointment setter and it started to go pretty well. This was during college in 2021. So this was my freshman year of college. I think my first month of appointment setting, maybe it was a little bit into my second month because of how sometimes payments can get delayed and stuff like that, but I made like $3,000. Then the month after that, I made like $4,000. And the month after that, I was making like $5,000, give or take. And really what my day-to-day looked like at that time is I was balancing working, college classes, and doing online work, which was doable for me. You just have to put in the work. So like if you're trying to make money online right now, but you have excuses about like, oh, I got this going on, I got that going on, like I would challenge you because you can balance all of them. You just have to sacrifice the stuff that you know you need to sacrifice. Like I had to get rid of video games and stuff like that that was wasting my time. So then most of my days were waking up, doing college courses, doing my homework, working, and then working online every single day, 7 days a week. And then on Saturdays and Sundays, when I didn't really have college classes or courses, I would double down and do even more work in the online stuff that I was doing. And once I got to the point of making about $5,000 a month, it gave me enough confidence personally to know that this is something that I can do and sustain and even grow into the future. And that allowed me to have the confidence to drop out of college. You know, my parents weren't happy at the time because I'd only completed 1 year, but I started proving to them by being extremely disciplined and putting work and showing them the money that I was making and waking up before them and, you know, already being in the gym at like 5:30 a.m. I proved to them that I was actually serious about this stuff. And then during that summer of 2021, I actually met up with my business partner. His name is Alex. And we started going down the route of building our own offer where he would take care of the content creation, the marketing, and the ads, and the client success, and I would do sales inside of his business. And I don't want to go through like my entire journey with that, but I can go through it pretty quickly because it is important. So met this guy named Alex, we built our offer, and we actually paid a ton of money for a mentorship at this point, which helped a ton. Even though like my income was still pretty limited at this point. We spent the money, we bit the bullet, and it was ultimately worth it in this case. And that's something that I want to touch on in a second. But we ended up building this business, and I was doing sales. So I was doing appointment setting and closing inside of that business. And I learned closing from the mentor that we ended up paying. And people talk a lot about online courses or online coaching programs being a scam. I agree. I think there are some very bad programs or products out there where people, love to overhype it and say that you can make all this money and you can do all this stuff and it's going to take no work and no effort. So they like oversell you on the dream, and then their product is nowhere near the value that they say is possible. But there are some really good ones out there. And what ended up taking me 150 days really would have taken me like 5 years if I did not end up hiring this mentor. So sometimes if you've joined a program before and it hasn't been the best, sometimes it's just the tuition you have to pay in order to do the due diligence the next time around to find an actually good product. And like, honestly, I'm telling you right now, like, good luck if you just want to be successful entirely on your own and just never learn from anybody. That's just stupid. So we ended up starting this business. I was doing appointment setting and sales inside of that business. He was taking care of the rest, and we scaled it pretty quickly, and we scaled it to $50,000 a month. And it was a 50-50 business, and we decided to pay ourselves about $10K per month each inside of that business. And at this point, I was working my ass off. So I dropped out of college, but I was doing sales, I was doing appointment setting and closing inside of that business. And it was about 1 to 1.5 years of doing this every single month, just fully grinding, doing setting and sales every single day. 2023 was literally like start of 2022 into 2023 was just a full year of grinding. And then to help me out, because I was working my ass off in that business, we hired an appointment setter. So then I was just doing sales inside of that business. And I was responsible as well for managing that appointment setter, coaching him up and helping him understand what he needs to do and improve on. And I realized that I really like working with young men and coaching them through the journey, even if they're just a couple steps behind me. And so that led me to where I am today, where I still do work on the side where I help people improve their closing rate, and we still do business work like that. But I also started the offer that I run now on this YouTube channel, which is called Remote Sales Mastery, where I help young men follow in the exact same footsteps that I went down, because I truly have a passion for this. It's not even about the money at this point, because I'm doing quite well for myself. It's really just because I'm passionate about this stuff and I want to work with serious people. And so at this point in this video, if you've resonated with my story and you're in a similar place to where I was at certain points in my journey, you want more, but you're not sure where to start. I built my one-on-one coaching program entirely for people like you. And inside of it, I work directly with you to help you follow the exact same path that I already went through so that you can scale to 10K per month yourself. And if you're ready to stop guessing and you want to start building real high income skill sets that will pay you, and that they're the reason why you're not making money right now, go to the description and apply by booking a time with me where you and I can jump on a quick conversation to see if it would be a good fit. And then if this is your first time seeing me and maybe you're not quite ready for that yet, I totally understand. Check out this video on my channel that shows an example of one of my students that's just like you and was watching my YouTube videos, ended up joining that same program, and you can see the results that he's getting right now. Watch that next, and I'll see you guys there. Peace.